Ohio State 48, UCLA 10 in the shoe. We did not have Carnell, Tate, and Jeremiah for most of this game. Let's talk about it. So the Buckeyes hosted UCLA all the way from Pasadena, California. Well, I guess not Pasadena anymore. They will not be playing in the Rose Bowl. But UCLA comes to the shoe in prime time. This will be the last prime time game in the shoe for the regular season, as the Michigan game and Rutgers game are both going to be noon. Rutgers, I don't know if it'll be big noon kickoff, but it will be a noon game. I'll have to check, but I do not know if you'll have Gus Johnson or not. This will be a Big Ten Network game. But Ohio State 48-10. I predicted this game to be like a 42-7. And if you take away the two garbage time touchdowns, this is like a 41-7 type game, which is actually it's almost identical to what I picked. So I feel like I was pretty accurate. Obviously, I did not anticipate a kickoff return. And if you look at the title of my prediction video for this, I said I think there is a possibility that this could be a Julian Sayin legacy game, because without Carnell, Tate, and then I didn't know at the time, but without Jeremiah Smith, maybe we can see if Jeremiah or if Julian still has 3 or 4 touchdowns, we can really see how good Julian is. And we didn't see that. This is kind of the season where I always like to say, if you get the teams that are up at the high highs at the beginning of the season, that's like Ohio State, Miami, these teams that are super high, they're going to experience a low late in the season. Miami's had that, and Ohio State's now going through some injury problems where maybe we could see this is kind of the low point. And it's good when the low part of your season is like when your 2 wide receivers are going to be hurt for a couple weeks. But like Alabama, they had their low. They kind of came all the way back up. I know they just lost. Tomorrow on Monday afternoon, that's when the After the Whistle episode's going to come out. I think I'm going to have these episodes come out on Monday just so I get more time to kind of process what's happening. And then I can also do this just because Sundays are pretty busy for me. So just to make sure we get quality content out, I think I'm going to push After the Whistle episodes on Monday instead of Sunday and do the Ohio State reviews on Sunday. But yeah, let's kind of go through some stats in this game. This wasn't a great game. Julian went 23 of 31 with only 184 passing yards. There was a couple drops in this game by Mylan Graham. And you had Jeremiah in the first half. He had 4 catches for, I think, only 40 yards. And he obviously, you saw him, he had that ridiculous one-hand grab. And then Carnell Tate did not play in this game. I don't think Carnell will play next week. And Jeremiah is definitely not going to play. If you saw him after the game, he had a really bad limp. And then in the press conference after the game, Day said that he's a reporter asked him, he's like, do you think this is going to be a long-term injury? And he goes, no. What? Injury? No. Remember JSN? Yeah, that never happened, right? That never happened. Yeah, no, they're going to be fine. So I think they're fine. It's Day. He never really gives us anything. So, everyone's kind of freaking out. I'm just really hoping Carnell's not out for the season. And I guess the biggest concern is if Jeremiah is out next week and he only comes back against Michigan, fine. He just played. He's out for a game and a half, whatever. If Carnell doesn't play next week, well, he didn't he didn't play in Purdue, so we're assuming he didn't practice for Purdue. It's one game. He didn't play in this game. He's probably not going to play in next game, and then you're going into the week of Michigan. That is a month. That is a month of Carnell Tate not playing football and not practicing. Will he be ready? Will there be some drop off or will there be some rust? People are saying Carnell Tate might be rusty for that game. So, it shouldn't matter. This is, when we play them, this should be an overmatched opponent. Obviously, it's not going to be. It's a rivalry game. I understand that. But, on paper, Ohio State is much better than Michigan. But kind of going back to this game, we can speculate about the future another time, and we'll do that especially the week of the rivalry game. I'm talking about this game. So this spread opened at 30. It went all the way up to 34 when it was announced Nico wasn't going to be playing, and then it kind of went down when it was Carnell was going to be out and Jeremiah was questionable. So it settled at 32, and everyone was like, they're not going to cover. It's going to be raining. It's going to be super windy. So that's kind of what I thought. I actually thought they were going to cover. I thought they were going to cover by the hook. I think it was 30. What it was 30, so it was 32 when it ended. It was 31 when I predicted. So yeah, 41-7. That's you won by 30. So I thought they were going to cover. And they did. They won by 38. So they did cover. Again, this is the third week in a row Ohio State's defense has allowed double-digit points. I will say I don't think the only time anyone's ever scored double-digit points on the starting defense was Penn State, and that was off of a turnover. So I guess with the starters, no one has scored double-digit points. Well, I guess no. Illinois was the only one. So Penn State and Illinois, they had the turnovers in the Penn State game. So really, Illinois is the only one to score 10 full points without a short field against the starting defense. And that was on the road. And that was a very sleepy environment. So I don't have any concerns for the Ohio State defense. It's just, okay, usually we try to, I remember last year earlier in the season, it's like, well, Ohio State's only allowing, it was like a month in the season or something. It's like Ohio State's only allowing 4.9 points per game or 5.8 points per game. You're like, oh, wow, we're the best defense ever. I'm like, well, look, our schedule is going to get tougher. That total is going to go up. I think last year it settled at 9 points a game, which is still incredible. But the Georgia's defense, those only allowed a touchdown for the entire season. I don't know. This Ohio State defense is only going to allow that. They're up to 7.5. So that total for Ohio State's defense has gone up by 0.2 or 0.3 every week the past couple of weeks. And obviously with next week with Rutgers, Kaliak Manis is a good quarterback. I think he's still there. But Greg Schiano, good offensive mind. They've always had decent offenses. I know they just lost Monangai, but Rutgers has actually been pretty decent. They've actually put up some good points on some people. But yeah, they might get to 14. Obviously, you have to be aware for looking forward. They're probably going to look forward from this Rutgers game. Last year, it was a little bit different because we had top 5 Indiana the week before. And actually, in the past 5 years, it's been like a double. In 21, it went. I think it was Purdue, Michigan State, Michigan. All of them were ranked. In 20, that was 21. 22, we played Maryland on the road. That was a close game. In 23, I think it was Minnesota, and then last year was Indiana. So we've always played Michigan State or Penn State the week before we play Michigan. So this is kind of one of those off years where we don't play a big opponent right before we play them back to back. It'll be Rutgers. And actually, let me check that game because I want to see Rutgers' record and if there is a current spread out. Yes, so 33. So the total is 56. I know I'm not supposed to be covering this game. I'm trying. So what are they predicting? What? They're predicting like a 36-11. So yeah, they I think Rutgers might get to 10. But yeah, let me go back to what was their record? Why are you not bringing it up? So actually, Rutgers did just beat Maryland up. They're 5-5, so they're gonna have a 500 record. So they're not great. But yeah, again, I don't really have any concerns for this defense. We got to see a little bit of Lincoln Kienholz. He went 3 for 3, 34 yards. He had that beautiful cross-body long throw across the field to I don't remember who he threw it to. Maybe was it Quincy Porter? I don't know. Actually, no, it wasn't Quincy Porter. Maybe it was Nate Roberts. He had 2 for 24. But yeah, Julian, look, it's for Heisman talk. Yes, he didn't have his 2 best guys. The game plan didn't really allow him to throw all around the field. and his performance dipped. He had under 200 yards. This is going to probably hurt his Heisman race. But now that with Ty Simpson losing, it is 100%. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. It is completely Julian Sayin, Fernando Mendoza. If they win out, which Indiana has the bye week than Purdue, so they're going to win out. They're going to be 12-0 heading to the Big Ten championship. And if Ohio State can beat Michigan, and honestly, I mean, that could be his Heisman moment, the Michigan game, and that might delay Heisman voters. But if the betting favorite, it is Julian, and it's Fernando 1, Julian 2, and then everybody else. And Marcel Reed's still number 3. That's a joke. We'll talk about A&M tomorrow, but if you're a Heisman voter and you vote before the Big Ten championship, which in history it's like 60%, I feel like the circumstances might be different just because it is very public. Number 1 versus number 2, they're going to play each other. Just wait till after the championship game. If you vote before, I mean, you're an idiot. Well, okay, if you're voting for someone that's not Fernando and Julian, fine, whatever. But if you're trying to choose between Julian and Fernando and you vote before the Big Ten championship, like why? Like, what is wrong with you? They're going to play each other. They're number 1 versus number 2. Even if like if Ohio State wins but Julian has 5 turnovers and Fernando loses but he has 3 touchdowns, then sure, give it to Fernando. But at least let them play each other. See them in the same game, in the same room, at the same time, on the same field, and then we can decide. Because that's going to be a quarterback matchup. Both have the top 2 defenses, top 2 rosters, whatever. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if Indiana has the second best roster, but I mean, they're top 5, top 10 at least. But yeah, so Julian, 75% completion rate, not one of his greatest. He was 18 of 21 in the first half, which was, I mean, that looks like he was great. He had I think 124 yards. So we're like, oh, okay, maybe he'll probably have 220, 80% completion rate, and 2 touchdowns. And that second half just kind of fell apart just because you don't have Jeremiah. And my goodness, Jeremiah with the one-hander. But yeah, Mylan Graham was tied with the leading receiver with Jeremiah. He had 3 catches for 40. Mylan Graham had 3 catches for 40. Jeremiah had 4 catches for 40. Brandon Innes, he had 6 receptions for only 30 yards. That was a loud 30 yards. I felt like every single time he caught the ball, you noticed him. He had some incredible catches, especially on 3rd down. Bryson Rogers had 2 for 27 and a touchdown. He was on the field a lot. Max Clare had 5 for 26. I felt like they got him in the game more. Nate Roberts, not just playing fullback now, actually playing a tight end, 2 for 24 in the freshman. Quincy Porter had 1 for 14. Isaiah West had 2 for 12 out of the backfield. And then James Peoples had 1 for 5. In total passing, there was 218 yards split between Julian and Lincoln. Since we had injuries before, and they even pulled Caleb early, they really pulled all the starters at the middle end of the 3rd quarter, and they kind of left Julian out there, but then they eventually pulled him. But yeah, so that was kind of not much happened in passing. The running game. This was, I'm trying to remember what I said in the video, but I said I wanted to see. What did I say? I said Jeremiah 3 touchdowns or something. Julian Sayin legacy game, which none of those happened. I think what was the 3rd one? Was it? I think it was. Well, I don't remember. Maybe it was talking about Tegra. I don't remember. But one of the things I don't know if I said it, but I really wanted to see was this running game. And my goodness, did the run game go off. This is the first time versus a Power 4 opponent we've had over 200 yards rushing. Bo Jackson, 15 carries for 112 and a touchdown, 7.5 on the ground. Isaiah West, 8 for 61, 7.6 on the ground, a touchdown. James Peoples, 6 for 42, 7 yards on average and 2 touchdowns. And my goodness, James Peoples with a hurdle. I gasped. Just cleared that guy. And that's kind of the James People we've been waiting for all year. He just it looks like there's no confidence there. He's not realizing he can break tackles. And the fact, he's more of an elusive guy than a tackler. And I think the offensive line was not blocking well for him. But even though UCLA has a bad run defense, Purdue had a bad run defense. Ohio State did not run the ball well. This is one of the only times versus a Power 4 opponent where Ohio State made a bad running defense look like a bad rush defense. But yeah, James Peoples, I've been waiting for that all year. Isaiah West, Bo I think might be better. Bo runs funny. Isaiah West runs so smooth. He's not he's wearing 32. He reminds me of Travion. He kind of looks like, his body type kind of looks like Travion. His quads are huge. I don't know if you've seen the photo. He is a stud. He's not as fast as Travion. Travion might be like the fastest running back in the NFL. That man is so fast. But yeah, I mean, those Isaiah West, I mean, this, I saw some other people talk about it. This reminds a lot of people when Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton, the two senior running backs at Penn State currently, when they were freshmen. That's kind of what this reminds me of. Will James stay as a junior as the third running back? I don't know. I feel like Bo's going to stay. He's the starter. Either Isaiah or James is going to transfer. It's probably going to be James. Maybe he comes back, but I don't know. Lincoln Keenan's had one rush for 3 yards. He didn't really do much, and then they got to Julian. They did sack Julian. So kind of talking about the offensive line, we saw Tegra a little bit, and when we did, he messed up as always. And I want him to do good. He's just not, and we've wasted so much time and so much of the season waiting. And even a lot of the season last year. Remember, Tegra kind of got pushed around. Not pushed around, but like you had Donovan at left guard or left tackle. You had Carson at center. And then you had Josh Fryer at right tackle. And then it was Luke Montgomery, Austin Serval, and Tegra switching right and left guard. And you had, I think it was mostly Luke at left guard, and then right guard was between Serval and Tegra. And that's what kind of hid Tegra's mishaps, was because Austin would take over. Obviously, Austin is the starting left tackle now. So he's one of the best offensive linemen on the team. He's a captain. But now that Tegra's again, he is the full-on starter, there's a reason why he's kind of lost his starting role. He only had 24 snaps, and we did not see Ian Moore. I think he was injured, and we did not see Ethan O'Neill. We saw Ethan O'Neill on the backups. We did not see him as the second guard. They would bring in, instead of Tegra, they would put in Gabe Van Sickle, and he seems like he might be a full-on fix for this. Another idea I saw floated was sliding Phillip inside, because he's a good runner. He's a good running rush blocker. And that's one of the guards. I mean, you're doing inside zone, which we know Day loves the spam inside zone. That's something that we need to get better at, that Tegra is not helping. And then putting Ian Moore at right tackle. So, yeah, that's all I have for Ohio State. For UCLA, Nico didn't play in this game. Very unfortunate. Luke Duncan actually looked pretty well, and the announcers were saying he's actually got a little bit of swag in the second half. He went 16 for 23, 154, and a touchdown. They did nothing on the ground, had 68 rushing yards. And they were saying, I think, that Ohio State had just as many points as UCLA had snaps. In the first half, I think UCLA only had 2 first downs and a total of 58 yards. So in the first half of the starters' defense, absolutely suffocating. But yeah, Ohio State was in I think it was late third quarter, they allow a touchdown. And then the play right after, Lorenzo Styles, the brother of Sonny Styles, the senior captain, the Blocko, where I think is he a captain? Yeah, he's a captain. Had a 100-yard kickoff return where he slipped in the end zone and then housed it. And that was the first time that had happened since 2010 with Jordan Marshall against, I think it was Michigan. So and that was 2010. So I was 2 years old. I was a 2-year-old the last time that happened. So last year we had the punt return, and this year we have a kickoff return. So that was awesome to see. Lorenzo, I've been very critical of Lorenzo a lot this year. He was the one at fault for that Ohio play when he played Ohio, that long touchdown. He just tackled the guy 3 times and missed 3 times. But he's been good. I think he is a better corner currently than Devin Sanchez, the highly recruited 5-star freshman. He was the highest safety in the 2025 recruiting class. And I actually think Devin's more of an outside guy. Lorenzo is a slot corner. I think he's probably one of the better slot corners we have. I would rather have him at slot than I think Devin. He's been okay, but he's also a freshman, so I'm not going to really hold against him too much. But yeah, Ohio State improves to 10-0. They are basically a lock for the playoff. If they lose to Rutgers and Michigan, they would probably be a 10 seed. Maybe they get left out. I don't know. So I'm not going to say they're a lock. But I think they're going to win next week. So 11 wins minimum. They're practically a lock for the playoff. Hopefully going to the Big Ten Championship, because I am going to the Big Ten Championship. If Ohio State gets there, that's kind of like the Christmas birthday gift. So I don't want to have to sell those tickets. So I'd love to go to the Big Ten Championship to hopefully face Indiana, number 1 versus number 2. And that would be great. Ohio State improves to 7-0 in the Big Ten, as they will face Rutgers next week at noon. And actually, before I go, I just want to is that the big noon kickoff game? Big noon kickoff. No, that they are going to BYU Cincinnati. So this will probably be just a Big Ten Network game. Probably Jake Butt, and Jake Butt and the guy he's with, they do a great job. So I will see you guys all tomorrow to cover all the rest of the games. But yeah, that is all I have for you today. Make sure to hit subscribe. We're so close to 40 subs. I want to get there before the Michigan game. Remember, hit the like button. If you have any opinions or something you want to let me know down in the comments, let me know. I would love to hear it. I love debating with all you guys. That's why I do it, to just get more communication with college football fans. So yeah, I will see you guys all tomorrow, and thank you.